In this lesson, we'll begin drawing a character within the boundaries of our first shape. All right, so this may be a little different course than you're used to seeing from digital tutors, and this is actually a process that I like to go through whenever I'm looking to draw a character, and maybe I don't know what type of character I want to draw. So what we've done here is we're limiting our scope. We've got here on our screen, we've got 5 different shapes, and we're going to work on defining a character within each of these shapes based on the boundaries of the shape. Now, for this course, we're actually going to focus on females, and so let's go ahead and just dive right in and get started with this first shape right here. Now, if you want to look at the included project files for this course, you'll see that I've already set up sort of a basic layer stack here, and we're not going to get too much into this, and I'm just going to come in here and choose the pencils layer under line work, and I want to come in here, zoom in nice and tight on our shape, and let's see here, let's go ahead and change the color of our brush. I'm just going to go ahead and change that to a nice blue color so we can get a decent amount of contrast between the black shape and the brush we're going to draw with. So now, during this course, I'm not really going to focus on telling you keyboard shortcuts. We're just going to really be drawing at this point. I'm not going to do anything too fancy. I may mention it if we do something a little bit strange, but for the most part, we're just going to be drawing. So we've got this shape right here, and we're focusing on drawing a female inside this shape. Now, I'm going to kind of limit myself to kind of the head and shoulders of our female, and I'm already seeing some nice details starting to form within this shape here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and begin drawing a head of a female by drawing a simple ellipse. So I'm going to go and place this. Now this is going to be the ellipse of the head where the spine is actually going to connect. We're actually going to hang the face off of this ellipse. So I'm just going to come in here and begin drawing. I'm drawing with a fairly low opacity, around 30% right now. And that just works for me because I like to lay down lots of really loose lines to sort of construct this ellipse. So I've come in here and drawn in a basic ellipse. Now let's come in and start to think about the direction this face is going to be pointed. So we might need to draw in some construction lines or some dimension lines on this ellipse to make it feel a little more three-dimensional. So I'm feeling like the face, she's going to be looking this direction here. So as a matter of fact, I think the face is going to kind of hang off right down in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in sort of a dimension line right here that's going to help us see sort of a three-dimensional form in this ellipse. So let's go ahead and hang that right there. I'm going to come in here and just draw in sort of the chin shape here. Maybe a chin shape that we're going to hang off of this face, or hang off of this sphere here. So I've got our basic face shape here. Now I'm going to come in and just kind of work several areas at a time and slowly refine this out. Now if we were to bring this on down, we could bring that chin even a little further to the right. So, but we've got sort of this nice cheek shape here I want to make sure and keep. So I'm just going to kind of roughly pencil that in here. And, I'm looking at this shape right here, and I'm thinking that might make for some nice bangs. Now, I'm not going to stick to these shapes exactly as law, so I'm just using them as really creative inspiration for the character that's developing on the inside. So maybe we want to pull in some bangs right here. And maybe that we don't want them to come out quite as far as this shape extends right there, but, let's just go ahead and bring in some bangs and, bring this hair up sort of like this. Now, what I have kind of in mind for this area right here is I see sort of like a ponytail starting to develop here. So let's go ahead and just kind of draw in some hair here again. And you know what? Let's go ahead and think about the neck. So we've got here this face positioned here. Let's go ahead and pull the neck out. I'm just going to kind of draw in a line right now for sort of the center of where I'm thinking the neck's going to be. Now, the neck's actually going to be a little thicker than that, obviously. So maybe we're going to bring in a neck sort of like this. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and toss this out here. For this course, I'm going to stick with fairly stylized females. We're not going to go with anything too realistic, and I think this is just a good exercise in developing characters out of these basic shapes. So let's come in here, focusing again on this ponytail shape here, and I'm going to come in, maybe she's got sort of a brass type ponytail holder right here. Instead of a scrunchie or some kind of a ribbon or something like that, maybe there's actually a piece of jewelry there that's been fashioned. Maybe this character we're drawing is actually some sort of maybe even a princess or something from medieval times, some type of metal jewelry right here that would actually group her hair together, and her hair would run through that. So maybe her hair comes in sort of like this. Just drawing in really roughly, really loose right now. I think that's really important at this stage is to stay loose. Now, if that's a ponytail right there, I'm seeing the back side of her hair sort of right here to the right of her head. So, coming back in and focusing on her head just a little bit, maybe we should come in and draw in some horizontal lines around this center line to sort of place the facial features that we're going to be drawing. Let's go ahead and pull in a line right there for the eyes. Let's go ahead and pull in another line right about here for the nose, and then maybe one right about here for the mouth. Now, if you need to, don't hesitate to come over here to your layer stack and hide that initial shape in case it's getting in the way for you. So just so you can see kind of where you're going with this, I'm going to keep on charging through this though. I'm going to come up here and maybe we draw in a rough shape of an ear right here. Just sort of an elliptical shape. I'm not going to worry about getting too detailed with that right now. Let's go ahead and come in and think about maybe how her neck's going to connect to her shoulders. Now I want to just draw sort of a tilting line right here along the angle of her shoulders. Now if we have a shoulder over here, then maybe we have one right over here too. So thinking about this angle right here and how it matches up in comparison to these angles right here, these lines. So we've got some of these basic shapes working here. I'm going to come in and start thinking about how these shapes work their way towards the center of this shape. So we talked about maybe she's got some bangs right here. Let's go ahead and bring those bangs on and over and around and sort of complete this shape. So we've got these bangs right here. All right, so I can already see that that's going to be a little bit of a problem here because the ear is a little bit high. So, maybe we just erase that and hang that a little bit lower. Now, the general rule for an ear in relation to facial features is that the top of the ear is going to match up with the eye level. So I'm going to come in here and hang that just a little bit lower here. If we wrap that line around that we've drawn for the eyes, maybe that ear is going to be right about here. I think that's looking pretty good. So we'll continue on and think about maybe drawing in some of these facial features or planning these out at least. Let's go ahead and draw in maybe some eye shapes. So there's lots of different shapes we can use for a female's eyes, and I'm going to actually tilt these eyes just a little bit, which is actually going to make them a little bit more seductive looking. It's going to actually add to the femininity of the eye, and we're going to just kind of tilt that, make it sort of an elliptical shape, but we're going to pinch it here at the ends. So we're going to draw in another line here at the bottom of the eye, but we're not going to curve that line near as much as this top line. So this top line is going to be the dominant curved line in this eye. And if we wanted to come in and just quickly draw a pupil, let's draw in an oversized pupil here. Let's see, we'll do that here. Maybe we pull in actually the pupil part right here. And then she's going to have some little eyelashes out here to the side. Sort of like that. So we've got our first eye drawn. Now the second eye is going to be a little bit different. It's going to have the same basic shape, but this is on the side of the face that's curving away from us. So we're not going to see near as much of this eye. So I'm going to kind of come in and I'm going to use the same basic shape, but I'm going to imagine it curving away from us. So we're not going to see as much of it here. So coming in here, drawing in this second eye, it's actually also going to be a little bit smaller than this eye because this eye is going to be closer to us. So we'll just come in here and quickly draw in the iris and the pupil here of this second eye. Just slowly drawing those in, sort of working those in with really loose, sketchy lines. So really this is very loose at this point, and like I said, I think that's really important, is to stay loose. So we're not going to get too focused on nailing a perfect shape with one line. So right now I'm kind of coming in and planning for some eyebrows here, and you can already see that we're already going to have to rethink the bangs. So maybe those actually start a little bit higher, slope a little bit more, and come up and over just a little bit higher. Sort of like that. So, maybe we could even come in and draw some sort of dimension-like lines that could be folds in the hair here to sort of get the idea of how the perspective is going to change on these bangs as they move around the front side of her head here. So we'll just come in and do that. Maybe she's got some like jewelry or something here on this little cuff that's holding her hair. So let's go and just draw in some rough shapes here. Maybe these are actually gems or jewels or something like that. So just bouncing all around our character at this point. Maybe we come in and draw this head out just a little bit more, pulling down that neck some, and maybe she's actually got sort of a matching adornment here on her neck that sort of matches this one up in her hair. So let's come in and draw sort of this same cuff shape, the same shape along her neck, and I'm going to come in and start thinking about her shoulders just a little bit here. Let's come in and bring in a shoulder here, and start to bring one in over here as well. So you can see we're really working our way all the way around this character at this point. So nothing is set in stone by any means. Nothing is 100% solid here. So we're still open to change anything we want to. So quickly coming in sketching, let's go ahead and just start planning out a small nose here. Maybe we put in a very small nose. Now a female nose is going to be very small and kind of perky. So we're just going to pull in sort of a hint of a nose right there, and then we're going to go ahead and plan for some lips right here as well. So these lips are going to sit right along here, so we'll just come in and, maybe we come in and draw in sort of a smaller upper lip with a little bit thicker lower lip here. So, that's going to add to the feeling that she's got really full lips. We'll just pull this lower lip in sort of like this for right now. Now we'll come in, probably refine this out just a little bit here as we proceed forward with her. But for right now I think that's going to work just fine. So we've got her lips laid in. We've got sort of this basic head shape. Let's go ahead and just sort of trace over our lines here and plan out for the rest of her hair. I don't think we've hit that yet. Alright, so we're looking pretty good here. Maybe we can go in and pull in some wisps of hair, sort of like this, that are coming down in front of her ear. Just sort of accenting her chin just a little bit here. Alright, so, I think at any point after you're done doing the rough sketch of your character, I think it's important to sit back and evaluate the character without your shape there, so you can kind of see some areas maybe that you need to improve on. So if we zoom out here, take a look at our character, I'm thinking here that there's some areas I may fix. I may come in and lasso up this eye. Maybe we narrow this eye a little bit. I think we're seeing just a little too much of this eye right here. So we could either bring her face out just a little bit like that, or we could just squeeze this eye in, redraw that eye some. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like it is right now, and between lessons I may come in and actually redraw that eye, and come in and just really pull out some of these shapes that still need to be pulled out. So let's go ahead and pull out an ear here. Maybe she's actually got sort of an earring here. Maybe there's some sort of an earring here. If she's a princess or someone like that, she's probably got quite a bit of jewelry on. So let's go ahead and draw in an earring. Maybe it's got a nice long dangly earring with another jewel in it. So speaking of jewels, we didn't really put any jewels in on her necklace here, or on this cuff around her neck. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Alright, so you can see here we've used our basic shape that we started with to really begin developing our character some here. Now, again, between lessons I may come in and refine this out a little bit, but in the next lesson we're going to pick up where we're leaving off here, and we're going to lay down some refined line work to really solidify the character that we've roughly drawn here.